As I told you, Lonnie Hutchins was on his way in, and he is here. And he even made a pot of coffee, I understand.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, somebody had to. Holy moly. I guess, you know, when when you reach a certain age, you kind of forget these things.
Well, you know, I honestly don't know how to make coffee, as stupid as that sounds.
Oh, there's nothing to it. You
That's
just
what my
dump
wife said.
you just dump a bunch in, and when the water turns color, you got it.
You make it like Andy, strong probably. Yeah, my wife got me, I don't know if you heard this earlier, but for my birthday, she bought me a month's supply of free coffee at McDonald's every morning.
How nice.
So you get a little card, you hand it over to the gal. That doesn't cost me anything. Saved me $25.
Well, you made it a certain amount. She's had to make it to McDonald's.
Yeah. And the girl, I says, my wife got this for my birthday present. She goes, when was your birthday? I go, Friday. She goes, well, happy belated birthday. And she goes, this will work. So it didn't cost me a dime. So
That's wonderful.
it was a good little gift.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's a great thing to have.
You know, you've been driving me crazy for like a week because you called in and teased me, as we call it in the business, with, I have an announcement to make, but I can't tell you what it is. I actually had, I swear to God, Lonnie, the other night I had a dream that you made this giant announcement on the air, and it was, and this is, I'm going to tell you what it was. You were going to you announced that you robbed a bank. I go, that's not Lonnie. He wouldn't do something like that, but that's how wild the dream was.
Well, I don't know. You were my accomplice.
I didn't want to put that in the story, but I was. Yeah. So I've been thinking about you, you know, and thinking, what's he going to announce? So.
Well, thank you. Well, we had a very exciting leaf project this year. Things went very, very smoothly, went very well. The only catches we, excuse me, please. The only catches we had this year were two. One was we only had one person driving to get materials, and that made it difficult. It slowed things down a little bit, is all it did. And secondly, we had just a small amount of volunteers. Our volunteers were about half of what we normally have.
You know, I was going to mention that to you. I went by your headquarters, and I noticed a lot of cars there.
Yes, we had a very small amount of volunteers this year, but the volunteers we had did a very, very good job. We're very happy with what we did. We did it extremely well this year. Everything went very smooth. We had no problems whatsoever. We had one bee sting all week. No attacks by wood snakes, nothing on that order. The wood snakes were under control.
Do you have problems with wood snakes?
Oh yes, we usually have problems with wood snakes.
I never knew there even was a snake called the wood snake.
Yeah, it's a piece of wood that has a nail sticking up out of it, and if you leave it stand up, it bites you. It's a wood snake.
Those can hurt.
Yes.
And they're not good for you.
And we had nothing on that order this year. We just had a wonderful year.
Did you get everything accomplished that you planned on doing?
You know, we never do.
Right.
That's something that just never happens to take place. But we did as best we could, as much as we could. I know we have some folks in the community that were disappointed that we didn't get to their residence, but we were more disappointed than they were because we just didn't have the people to do what we needed to do, what we wanted to do. But we did what he wanted us to do, and the Lord led us on that direction, and we got a lot done.
It seemed to me that was an extremely hot week too, was it not?
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, you know, man, how are these guys and gals working like this in this heat? You know?
Oh, we send out lots of ice water, lots of cold drinks, Gatorade, and things on this order. We don't send any pop out. Carbonated beverage in heat really doesn't do you any good.
No kidding.
Yeah, it actually does. It actually works against you.
Even though it tastes good and you think you're getting your thirst quenched,
Right.
I can believe that.
Right.
Yeah.
About the only thing it does is it gets you hyper on sugar.
Yeah. The water is the best, probably.
Well, water and Gatorade.
Gatorade
replaces the electrolytes that you lose during your perspiration and your energy expenditure.
Okay.
So, but of this year we had 61 applications that we actually viewed and looked at. Each application we take a look at. We take photographs now, and this is all done with personal equipment. Fellas go out and they have their own cameras and they take the pictures. And thank you for digital. Digital's fantastic. And we developed those. They put them on a piece of paper. An envelope is made up of your request, and then it's submitted, and we go through each and every envelope. It takes about 4 meetings to get through all of the envelopes. We discuss each one thoroughly. We decide, is it in our scope that we can do? Is it in the scope of the insurance company? Okay, and then we go from there. We see what our finances are, and you know, we were very blessed this year. We had no financial problems whatsoever. Thank you to the Conneaut Foundation and Ashtabula Foundation and Morrison Grant.
Has that been a problem in the past?
In the past, we've had a bit of a problem, but you know, that's an interesting story in itself. 11 years ago, we started, and at that point, there were 4 Methodist churches in our community. There was Amboy, there was Lakeview, there was East, and then there was the mothership behind McDonald's. What do they call that? McMethodist? Anyway, we each kicked in X amount of dollars. We ended up with a total of $2,500. And the first year, I think we spent close to $3,500. So we were $1,500 above what we had in the bank. So we're kind of worrying about, you know, what are we going to do here? Well, a month later, when all the bills were taken care of, everything was done, the $2,500 is still in the bank. Everything was paid for in full, and the $2,500 was left. So we started the next year with $2,500. 11 years now, that $2,500 has been in the bank at the end of each one of our projects.
Wow.
Our project weeks.
That's good management there.
And that, well, he manages it, we don't. I just can't say enough about that $2,500. It's just a blessed $2,500.
If you had to go in and use that, it would be there for you.
Oh yes, we plan on spending every cent we have. And it just seems to happen that when all the bills are paid, we have $2,500.
I'll be darned. I'll be darned.
It's just one of those things. But out of our 61 applications, Pat, we did active work on 29 sites.
Okay.
And of those 29 sites, there were 56 total jobs completed.
Wow.
Now we're talking everything from painting a home, which we painted a house and a garage. We're talking about the installation of 2 handicap bathroom facilities.
Holy mackerel.
I mean, that's not just a couple of handbars, and that's your tub, your commode, your sink, a shower facility, all the shower surrounds, all the plumbing, all the electrical, the drywall, the paint, everything. Everything is done. Even new lighting in this room.
There's actually some pictures.
Oh yeah.
Andy's showing us.
Andy's showing us some pictures. This is one of the handicap bathrooms that we did, one of the bathrooms that we placed this year. And these folks were, they're just so appreciative. Things are just really exciting. It gives you an idea of what we did. We had a group from Global come in this year, and they come every year. These fellas come and they're professional carpenters, and they come in and they take a day out of their work, and they send 2 groups in, and one group of gentlemen and a group of ladies this year, and they did painting. And this bathroom here was totally replaced. Oh, there I am. I'm sorry. And I'm sure that Andy's, I don't know if Andy's been showing these as we've been talking or not, so I could explain it, but...
you just started that, didn't you? Yeah, you
okay.
just started it.
And they're just so appreciative of these things. In this case, this resident hadn't been able to get into a bathtub or a shower for a year. He was washing at a sink and just has not been able to get in because the facility was not there.
Now, in some cases, the elderly especially cannot get in, but even worse, it's hard to get out of a bathtub.
Yes.
So, I imagine you put up the railings for them to...
With the grab bars and everything are installed, yes. They're installed. 9 times out of 10, those are a stainless steel item that we purchase because we want something that we know that when you grab onto it, it's not going to move.
Right.
And we don't want it to deteriorate for you or anything. We want it to be as best as we can make it. And for I think there's something like $5 difference in cost.
Okay.
You know, for $5, I'll take $5 out of the wallet and put it in there and
Yeah.
get the stainless before I get the other type.
Make it right.
And they're just, you know, and you put grab bars inside the unit as well as coming out of the unit. So, and in a lot of cases, new flooring is installed, a non-slip flooring is installed.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, that's important.
yes. Now, a lot of people don't realize in a commode, there's a difference between a standard commode and a handicap commode. The height and the size are different.
Okay.
Okay, but yet the measurements from the wall to the exact plumbing fittings are the same.
Is that right?
Yes, and it's just something you need to put in. It's much easier for someone with a handicap to get up and down, to sit up and stand up and whatnot.
Sure.
And whatnot. And we had one this year. We had an interesting report. We had a gentleman at a residence was putting in some doors. Now doors, you know, are a safety item for fire. So we put in new doors. And he was doing a great job. All of a sudden he hears this boom. And he wasn't sure what it was, so they're checking it out. And here the kitchen ceiling and half of the wall fell down.
Oh no.
A piece of plumbing came apart in the residence. So they of course had extensive plaster damage and whatnot. And it was the plumbing for their commode. So we don't know exactly how it happened, but we turned around and put a new commode in, and they repaired the plumbing leak, put a new commode in, and another gentleman came in and put in all new plaster in that for them.
Is that
all
right?
new drywall. So-
And this was something you were not expecting, obviously.
This is totally something out of the blue.
Yeah.
And the boom he heard was the plaster coming down. We were told that the toilet fell through the ceiling.
Oh Lord. That'd have been even worse.
Well, I thought maybe if we bought a toilet for there, we should put seat belts on it.
Yeah, I guess.
But anyway,
Did that throw you off much, the time-wise?
no, not really.
Yeah.
Not really. We figure, please excuse me. Okay. We figure that that's something that we just take in stride.
Yeah.
Because you never know what's going to happen in a residence when you go in.
So you're saying 56 out of 61
Yes.
was completed. That's amazing to me. I was thinking maybe 12, 13 that you missed.
Of these 56 jobs, we had a gentleman from Gabriel came. I purchased an Anderson window, the type that open out like this, and I purchased that, and we were going to put it. The lady wanted her house painted, so sure we could do that, but there's no bottom in your window, lady. Well, just paint over it; it'd be okay. No, you have to have wood there. I see daylight. Okay, now this lovely lady is up in her years. So we get the window in. I ordered the window in March, and it was a day late getting in anyway. So we got it in, and we're figuring it's going to take two fellas 2 days to put this window in. So we're just getting ready to do that, and this gentleman comes in, and we ask him, would you consider putting in a window? Why, sure. I'm going to need somebody to help me lift it in place. I said, okay, not a
They're
problem.
heavy,
Yeah, it was a large window.
yeah.
So off he goes. We give him all his stuff, his first aid kit and his water, and away he goes. Everybody's happy camper. And I got back to the office, and one of the few times that I got back, and he walks in and he says, you have another job? And I says, what, couldn't you get it done? He says, it's done.
No kidding.
2 hours time, this gentleman installs something that we figure
2 days.
shoemakers like us are going to take 2 days.
Yeah.
And in 2 hours time, and a fantastic job.
No kidding.
And this little lady, it was terrible. We had youth groups in from, we had youth groups in from Andover, Ashtabula, Corpus Christi, North Menor, and Conneaut. We had 5 youth groups in, working. And the kids that worked down there, this lady made pizzas for them every day.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, that's a treat.
What a treat. I mean, these kids had a ball. They were treated like kings down there. than the house did. It turned out very well.
Did it really?
Very nicely.
How many paint jobs do you have to do? Outdoor paint jobs?
What we did that home, we did a garage, and we did the trim on several other residents.
Really?
And then the handicap ramp and the porch that we put on last year, okay, had to be stained this year. See, if you put something on like that, that's not just a 1-year project.
Mm-hmm.
Your pressure treated wood has to set for a year,
Right.
and then you can seal it with however you would like to seal it or
Which
stain
is
it.
what I had to do with mine.
Yeah, and so we send groups over to do that.
Wow. It sounds like it was a big success. It appears that a lot of the 61 applicants that were on the list to be done, 56 jobs got completed. I think that's huge. Absolutely huge. And if you remember, that week was hot, very hot, but they were out there, these men and women working very, very hard for a very, very good cause. We have more pictures that Andy has got for us. Now, you mentioned the deck. I don't know if that's the next one coming up.
No, what he has coming up, we'll see what he puts up there. We'll keep an eye on the video here and see what he puts up. Maybe we can. This here is a deck, set of steps in that were rebuilt at a residence.
Uh-huh.
And if you'll notice down at the bottom, there's quite an opening at the bottom. Whoever constructed the first set of steps left that opening and made it a 10-inch step rather than a regular step, which was very difficult for the resident. So consequently, what we did is we redid the steps, made them all a standard step, and then we poured concrete at the base. That's what these gentlemen were doing, is pouring concrete at the base.
Okay.
And getting it ready to go so that it would be more level and even for them walking.
Sure.
So, and these are just two fellas from the church that do their own work at home, and they come in and they do it. Now, the fella there in the purple shirt, that's Don Palm. Don is one of the originators of the organization.
Uh-huh.
He just loves getting out in the field. He's so glad to get out of that office. When he left, he created a vacuum in the room. He was so quick leaving. And they really had a great time doing it. They were able to work at their own speed.
What did they put some concrete down for the step up to the steps?
Yeah, what they did is they took the concrete and they put it on a bit of an angle, on a bit of a slant going up to the step, so that it was not an actual 10-inch step.
I see.
We took the 10-inch out of it. And they
That's so
rebuilt
important.
the steps as well.
And these poor people had to put up with that.
Yeah, they did that for quite some time.
Yeah.
Did that for quite some time. And it's difficult. You'd be surprised. You and I are used to stepping on a step just at the right time.
Yeah.
But I think they're just watching the mix, make sure they're getting what they want for moisture content in the concrete. They mix the concrete up very loose, and then it gives them more time to work it. It takes longer for it to set up and longer to work, but it gives you a much better job, a much better finish.
I gotcha.
You know, once you work the water out of it, it just gives you a much better finish. Then they broom it so it's a non-skid surface. And this is the non-skid surface. This is their finished product.
Let me turn it.
Yep. I believe, I'm not sure, no, this is not the same one. This is a step that was put in at a ramp at another residence, not a ramp, a deck, a back deck. Now, what happened is this resident is having difficulties walking. He's had a hip replacement, 2 knee replacements and whatnot, and it's difficult for him to lift his feet. So we tore the old deck off, and in the process of putting a new deck on, when he stepped out of his sliding door, there was a standard step down to the ramp, or down to the deck. So we raised the deck up to eliminate that step. When doing so, there's the crew that did it. That's almost a finished product there.
Did you build that deck?
Yes, we did build that deck.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yep.
And it's huge.
Thank you. Thank you. We did build that deck for this family.
Wow.
Now,
How long would that take, Lonnie?
How long did that take? They were done in 4 days.
4 days.
Yes, 4 days.
Beautiful.
And these are all youth that come in from where this group here, I believe, were from North Menor.
It kind of reminds me of the one, well, you've been to my house. It kind of
Yeah,
reminds me of the
very,
one I have.
very close to what you have.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's very close to what you have. Yeah. And all your handrails, everything is handmade. Nothing is purchased in advance. It's all handmade.
Sure.
And what we do is they do follow the specs as far as child safety on the verticals you see on the handrail.
Okay.
Okay, those have to be a certain distance apart so a child can't get their head stuck in there.
Yeah, I think I had heard that before.
Yes. Now that's Jeff Raines there. Jeff works here, of course.
Yep.
And God bless him, he was running the event this year.
I
This is
understand
Jeff's
that.
second year.
We did some interviews with him.
Yeah, and he just really did a wonderful job this year. I commend him. He's just really excellent. This is back at the steps once again that they're taking out the concrete to bring the new concrete down to tie it into the old sidewalk without having a lip to step up on and whatnot. So.
I believe Jeff was going to go to Alaska after this was.
He did.
Did he go?
He did, yeah, and they let him back in the mainland.
Oh boy.
I talked to Pastor Scott Walsh, and he was one of the members of the group that went. He said they just really all had a wonderful time.
Good.
And I'm really glad they did it. I've been to Alaska, and I know it's how wonderful it is, and it is.
Yeah, I got family members that are going next year, and Michelle goes, "You like all those Alaskan shows? You should go with them." I says, I don't know about that.
Well, I'll tell you, it's just a wonderful, wonderful trip. If you get the opportunity to do so, take that.
It's a 2-week trip, I think that they're talking.
Take that opportunity if you get that chance. It's a once in a lifetime trip.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just absolutely fantastic. But that deck that we put on entailed relocating washer and dryer, relocating some gas lines, relocating the vents for the dryer and whatnot in order to get the deck where we wanted it.
Okay.
And the steps coming down are not a standard step. They are an extra wide step, and they're 3-inch steps. It's coming down to the ground, so that this gentleman can navigate the steps very comfortably.
Excellent. That's great.
And he didn't want the ramp. We were considering putting the ramp in there, and he said he would rather opt for the steps at this point.
Good for him.
Very proud, very
yeah.
very pushy that they're going to maintain this health level no matter what.
Good for him.
So we put about 45 people a day out on the street is what we averaged.
Okay.
Normally we average much more than that, but we were able to put 45 people out on the street.
Where's that?
This is the ladies making lunches and getting tools. These folks are getting tools to go out on a job. And this is the kitchen. Each day there's
the Cabrini Hall.
Yeah, at
Corpus
Christi Hall, and a hot meal is served every evening at 6 o'clock. And lunches are prepared here, and a hot breakfast is served every morning. And these ladies they do everything from eggs to believe it or not, Swiss steak.
Is that right?
Yes, it's just, I always say I'm going to lose weight during the leaf week, but it never happens. Never happens.
There's your wife, Nancy.
There's Nancy and another lady. These are kitchen angels.
No.
These girls stay in there, and believe it or not, you wouldn't believe the temperatures in the kitchen that they're working in.
Oh,
and it is an excessive temperature. And Judy is pictured there in a purple shirt. She's in charge of the kitchen. She purchases all the food in advance. This lady starts about quite early purchasing food that's on sale and things on this order, so that we'll have everything from meatloaf to ravioli. We never have the same meal 2 times in a row.
I'll be darned.
And then Friday night's dinner consists of all the leftovers. And these are the shirts. This is a display where you sign in. You come in and sign your insurance paperwork and all this stuff. These are the shirts from our first year right up to this year.
Okay.
And they're always on display so that everybody can see what has changed over the years. Everything changes each year. And these guys here, well, this is kind of a different group here. We encourage a lot of fun.
There's nothing wrong with having fun.
We encourage a lot of fun with the groups going out, and the kids just love to do it. I think the big kid in the center is having more fun than any of them.
Yeah. That's great.
And this is back on that deck once again. Now the deck will remain as is and will be on schedule. It's already on schedule for next year. We have two projects that were carried over for next year, absolutely carried over because they weren't completed. One, of course, is staining of this deck, and the other is a door.
Okay.
That the residents said they could live with the door they have until next year, so we could put a new door in the back of their residence. So, and these young ladies have been attending since they were knee-high to a grasshopper.
Really?
Yeah, they were just at the age of 12. They drove themselves there. They're 16 and 17 years of age now. They will be leaving for college here this month or next month.
We did an interview the other day about D-Day and showing some of the work that I know you're on the committee, that the young people that have volunteered to do that. And one young girl, I mean, she started going to D-Day when she was this big. Now she's a teenager.
Yeah. And
was making one of the walls or something for display down there. And she was really into it because she grew up with that.
Yes.
You know, with her parents taking her down there and everything.
It's really something. And you know, the kids need X amount of service.
Yeah.
Yeah, to graduate, and this all counts towards that service.
Yeah, that's great. That's good. Gives them something to do too in the summertime.
Yes.
You know.
And this year's project, we figure we have roughly 14,000 man hours involved.
No kidding.
For this week. For
just that 1 week?
For the week of leave, yes.
Holy mackerel. That's huge.
Now we have to remember, all this work is done by donations. It's all done by grants.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, if you try and individualize thank you on an individual basis, it's inevitable that you would miss someone, you know. So that's why I don't try to go with an individual blanket. But I tell you this much, the community, the city of Conneaut was behind this every inch of the way.
We have a good town.
We had 3 trailer loads of stuff that we picked up at a residence. We cleaned the yard and everything else. 2 trailer loads went to the dumpster, and the other ones went over to over here on the east side. And the city of Conneaut sent a gentleman over. It was only the city manager.
No kidding.
Came over, unlocked the gates for us. Another gentleman showed us, he said, now if you need to make your next trip, this is how you get in. This is the guy that runs the street sweeper.
Oh yeah.
These folks, you know, just come out of the wall, they come out of everywhere. And this is what you can do. And we would go in, we could go in and dump whatever we needed to dump. As long as we knew there was no plastic involved and so on and so forth.
Right.
You know, it's just stuff that can go into this, into there and be chewed up and used somewhere else.
Sure.
So we were really happy. So I told you, Pat, that I was going to make an announcement.
Okay.
Okay. And we have a little thing that's called, you know, announcements. Lonnie has another one. Lonnie has another one announcement for you. What a horrible way to die. What a horrible way. No, and it goes on. Okay. But each year the committee gets together and we look at what we did right and what we did wrong. Each year we look at what we can do to improve next year. And we're at the point now where we're seeing things through a different light. Everything just seems to be going the way it's supposed to be going. So the question always comes up. Then Jeff popped the question. And it was the last thing on the agenda in our meeting. And the question was, will there be a leaf project in the year of 2016? Dum-da-da-dum. And that answer is yes, there will be.
Good.
The reason we bring this question up is as you well know, and as the public well knows, there's a time for everything, and everything in its time. We don't want something to be poorly done. We want it to be done right. We want it to be done in its time, the way
Sure.
it needs to be done. And if we see that we're too low on volunteers, that we're not able to accomplish what we're doing, or if we see that money seems to be a major problem, it's just not happening, or something on this order, then it's our decision to decide whether or not we're going to do this again.
Yeah, I don't think you've ever announced it this early before.
No, this is a first.
Yeah.
This is a first. So what that means by saying there'll be a LEAF project in 2016, for those who would like, we already have 2 applications.
Do you really?
Yes. And we're looking forward to many more. Applications will be even more prevalent later in the fall. They will be at the churches. And we had a number of buildings represented again this year, and we're hoping for even more buildings to be represented next year. This is not a New Leaf United Methodist Church project. It's not an individual building project.
Mm-hmm.
This is open to every church in our community, no matter the size of the building or anything. You see, we all talk to the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what building you go to, we all talk to the same God. And he listens to us. But the simple fact is we just want all the churches to get together. This is a chance for your building to mingle with another building, and just to have joy in his presence. And there's nothing any better than, if you remember, Jesus gave. That's what he did. All he did was give. There was no take, it was just a give. And this is what we like to do during this week. It's just a give. It's not a take. It is a give. And that's what we're going to do for next year. We're really excited about it. And our phone lines are open. If anybody wants to call and ask what's going on, please feel free to do so.
Lonnie, where would, say come this fall, when people probably will start putting in requests for work, where would they call, or where would they go to their application to fill out?
Well, you can pick up applications at New Leaf United Methodist Church. You can pick them up at the library. You can pick them up at over on Mill Street.
Corpus Christi?
No,
Human Resources.
Human Resource, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a pat.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Bad one.
And anyway, you can pick them up in a lot of different places. And if you can't find one, give me a call at 593-2871. We'll direct you or get you that information so that you can start getting ready. We ask that you look at projects that are where the weather's coming into the home. We ask that you look at projects for safety. We're not there to make your home, improve your home for a sale.
Right.
We're not there to improve everything. We're there to maintain your home as is. And be sure that you own your home. That's one of the requirements. You have to be the owner of the residence. And there are people buying residence on a land contract basis, and you know, for the life of me, I'm sitting here and I can't honestly tell you how that was handled, but I do know it was handled and handled well.
Mm-hmm.
Any information that comes into us is a confidential information. We just ask, and volunteers, go back to your church, talk to your pastors. Talk to your leaders of your building. Talk to the people in your congregation. This is a fun thing to get involved with, and everybody thinks that you have to be there for a week. Everybody thinks you have to be there at 6:30 in the morning or else. It's not. You have to be there when you get there, and you can do pretty much what you want to do. It's just a very easy thing. It's a good way for youth to get a lunch, a good balanced meal, to get work hours for their school, and it's just a good way to get to know people. Know your community, support your community.
Obviously a great thing for our town, and I'm glad to hear that you are going to do it again next year, Lonnie. And
We're excited.
we'll certainly be promoting it all year long. We, as Lonnie said, there are chances to get your requests in probably this fall. You know, he's already got 2 now. But you can get applications at the County Public Library, at the New Leaf Church, and also on the County Human Resource Center. So take advantage of it. They do a wonderful job, and just a complete inspiration for the entire town. Thank you, Lonnie. You made your announcement and gave us some good news today. I
And
appreciate
thank you
that.
so very much for supporting us so much, Pat.
Absolutely.
We just, you know, without the AM Live support, without the newspaper supports, people don't see the news. They see the ugly part of the world.
Yeah.
We want them to see something different. We want them to see something that they would enjoy and participate
in a positive thing.
Yes.
So
That's
thank you
what
so
we
much,
wanna
Lonnie. Keep up the great work, and we'll be talking to you. We'll be talking to you over the next several months, I'm sure.
We'll be around. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Lonnie.